Argenti is coming out very soon in Honkai Star Rail, so today I want to go over his banner and his kit to see if he will be a good character for you to pull for your account in Honkai Star Rail. So, starting right away with his banner here, he has an amazing banner because he has firstly the new 4-star character Hanya, who's going to be a very solid Harmony character. I'm gonna make my own video on her as well, showing off what she does. Then also we have Lynx, who's a very solid 4-star healer, and then we're gonna have Asta, who I also just made a video on, who is a very strong Harmony support as well. So some great supports there, which is really nice to complement Argenti being a DPS, and then having Lynx as a kind of healer, because I do really like banners where you can, if you're a new player, you can basically build a team out of the banner. So we do love to see that. So now we're going to talk about what Argenti does in his kit. He definitely does have a very interesting kit, and he is pretty much, going to be the savior of erudition here. So, starting out here with his traces, or like his major traces. So at Ascension 2, his first major trace is that at the start of a turn, he'll immediately gain a set number of Apotheosis stacks, and I'm sure we'll see more of that when we get down to the rest of his kit. Then his second major trace at Ascension 4, when the enemy targets enter battle, he'll immediately regenerate energy for himself, which is very good because he does use a lot of energy. So being able to restore his energy is going to be very good. Then lastly, his last major trace, Courage. It will deal more damage to enemies whose HP is less than a certain amount. So just giving him more damage is also very nice as well. Now moving into his kit, basic attack. I'm obviously not going to spend much time on this because he's just hitting a single enemy for physical damage. Nothing really too crazy there. Then next up, we're going to go into his technique. So his technique will inflict the enemies in a certain range with the daze effect, and the dazed enemies will not attack allies while they're dazed, and if you initiate combat with a dazed enemy, Argenti will deal physical damage to all enemies, and he'll also get some energy back as well, which is really nice for him. Because, the more times you can use his ult, the better. Then, for Argenti's skill and talent. So, for his skill, it's very, very simple skill. I know a lot of these characters will have like paragraph length skills and stuff like that, but Argenti's skill, super simple. He just deals physical damage to all enemies. And I really like that he is dealing damage to all enemies with his skill, because I feel like a lot of the erudition characters only deal damage to adjacent enemies. And so I definitely do like Argenti being able to attack every enemy, because I do think that with characters, especially now in Destruction, like Blade, Imbiber Lune, Jingliu, being able to do adjacent targeting damage, I do think that erudition characters should really just be attacking every single enemy. Especially to make them still have their own kind of niche. So yeah, I'm very glad that Argenti is doing that. And then his talent is for every enemy Argenti hits when he uses his basic attack, skill, or ultimate, it'll regenerate his energy and grant him a set number of Apotheosis stacks, which will increase his crit rate. So Argenti's probably going to end up being pretty easy to build because you're going to be able to get crit rate from the Apotheosis stacks. So that's really good as well. And you can stack a certain amount of that. We don't know how many that is yet, but we'll see based on when we actually see the numbers in game. And then lastly for his kit, we have his ultimate. And his ultimate, he has 2 ultimates here, and they're based on the amount of energy that you're going to use for Argenti. So for his level 1 ultimate, which will just consume a certain amount of his energy to deal physical damage to all enemies, pretty just standard effect. And then his second ultimate, which uses all of his energy, he will deal physical damage to all enemies, and also deal damage to for a set number of additional times, dealing physical damage to a random enemy every time. So yeah, he will get some extra hits in as well when you get the second tier ultimate. And just based on his light cone effect, because his light cone effect is able to stack his damage increase based on the amount of energy he has. The light cone maxes out at 180, So I feel like we can kind of assume that Argenti's energy maximum will be 180, which is the highest that we have for any character. But he can use his ult faster with the with the lower level ult, which will still hit all enemies, which is still good. But we'll have to see what the numbers for that looks like once we're actually in game. But his kit definitely does seem very good. And for players that are thinking about pulling for Argenti, I do think that as a DPS character, he's going to be very good. And I especially think that players that pull him are going to do very well once we get Pure Fiction. Now, we don't have Pure Fiction, that much information about it. But if there are multiple enemies and you're trying to get through as many of them as possible in a short amount of time, I do think that erudition characters like Argenti, who can hit every enemy, are going to be really powerful. So us having a really strong, erudition DPS there, that's going to be beneficial for that. But also just, Argenti is going to be able to get you through all the content in the game. And he does definitely seem like he's going to be very strong as well. So I do think that if you are looking for a nice new DPS character, and if you want erudition character as well, I think Argenti is going to be an amazing pickup for you. So yeah, let me know down in the comments below if you guys are going to be pulling for Argenti when he comes out. But with that, I'm going to be ending off the video here. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed and you haven't already, definitely be sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe to the channel, and ring that notification bell. But with that, I will see you all next time.